Hey K-popers, and welcome back to Hallyu. The 2020 Mamas are this coming Sunday on December 6th, so to get you all caught up, we're gonna find out everything that you need to know about the Mamas. We'll start from the beginning and talk about what the Mamas actually are, and then look at some of the big controversies they've spawned over the years that actually tie into 2020, believe it or not. Then we'll ask the important question, do the Mamas really matter? And finally, we'll look at the all-time biggest winners and some of the most unforgettable moments from Mamas past. Before we get started, a quick thank you to Hallyu's honorary producers. If you want to be on this list and show off your bias group to everyone watching, you can support my work on Patreon. Patrons also have a say in lots of videos before they're released, so if you want to leave your mark on Hallyu, come join us over on Patreon. So let's discover everything that you need to know about the Mamas. Let's start from square one. What are the Mamas? Well, Mamas is short for Mnet Asian Music Awards, so as you can imagine, it's a big year-end awards ceremony held by Mnet, a major broadcaster in Korea. The Mamas first aired on November 27th, 1999 and have been held every year since. Though they'll be hosting an online-only event this year, the show will go on, marking 22 award ceremonies including this year. Back in 1999, the show was originally called the Mnet Video Music Awards, but after several name changes, they landed on the name Mamas in 2009 and have kept it since. The Mamas are a huge production, and though they started out being held in Seoul exclusively, they've grown and grown over the years, being hosted in many different cities around Southeast Asia including Hong Kong, Nagoya, Singapore, and many others. To just call the Mamas an award show is almost an insult. That's because there's so much more, most notably because of the live performances. If you attend the Mamas, you're essentially getting, with the awards show, a year-end concert of massive proportions. First off, the rosters are always ridiculously long and star-studded. As an example, take a listen to this full performer lineup from last year's show. ATEEZ, ITZY, Tomorrow by Together, Chang'e, Monsta X, U9, Hwasa, Dua Lipa, ONEUS, WayV, GOT7, 17, Mamamoo, JYP, TWICE, and BTS. That roster is stacked, and it just adds to the incredible atmosphere to have so many talented idols all together at one show. And it's not just that the artists are performing their songs, the actual performances are just a notch above. There's more effort put into the sets, the costume, and the extra choreography. Plus, there are often special stages and collaborations that you just won't find anywhere else, which makes it a fascinating watch as a fan. The Mamas are where artists go all out to deliver their very best and show off something new, because they know an absurd amount of people are around the world watching along. Now, about the awards. There are two major types of awards. The first category are grand prizes, known in Korean as Daesongs. These are ultra prestigious awards and are given out for Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Worldwide Icon of the Year, which was introduced in 2018. The second category are competitive awards, which include things like Best New Artist, Best Female and Male Group, Best Rap Performance, Best Collaboration, Best OST, etc, etc. These are still very hard to win awards, but the Daesongs have that extra weight to them. They're the pinnacle of achievement at the Mamas. I should mention too, there are a bunch of other categories that are either discontinued or just don't get awarded every year for one reason or the other, which includes awards like Best Music Video Director, Best Mixed Group, Best Trot Performance, and others. Now, as I said, there's a lot of people watching not just for the performances but for the award winners, which puts a lot of pressure on the ceremony and opens it up to a ton of scrutiny. And there have been a few major controversies over the years that I'm sure you'll find very interesting given what has happened this year in K-pop. The first controversy was in 2007 when two Shinhwa members, Lee Min-woo and Shin Hye-sung, cancelled their appearance just 1 hour before the show was set to begin. Their reason? They didn't trust Mnet to fairly select winners at the event. Interestingly, despite being legends who were very popular, Shinhwa never won a Daesong and only ever received one nomination for one, which was for Album of the Year in 2006. So take from that what you will. The wildest controversy to me though happened in 2009 when SM Entertainment and Inwoo Production boycotted the entire ceremony, meaning none of SM's artists showed up. This was a huge deal because you had both Super Junior and Girls' Generation, two megastar groups who likely should have been nominated for multiple Daesongs, just not show up completely. And get this, both SM and Inwoo said they were boycotting because they questioned the fairness of the voting process being run by Mnet. This was partially because Mnet had a mobile voting option which cost money to vote, but more importantly, during the year, Girls' Generation had held onto the #1 spot on music charts for 9 straight weeks. This was the year they both released Genie and G, by the way, and yet they didn't win a single show on M Countdown. You guys can probably see where I'm going with this. Here we are in 2020, 11 years later, and Mnet is still embroiled in a vote-fixing scandal that has gone to trial in court with the produce series of survival shows that impacts both IZ*ONE and X1. Way back in 2009, SM smelled something fishy with Mnet's voting and brought attention to it by boycotting the show. And in 2017, Mnet was forced to halt their voting as they found their voting system was being affected by bots. So they had to remove all the fraudulent votes and resume voting with increased security after that. Now, I know I came down pretty hard on Mnet in that last section, but I still very much enjoy the Mamas, and I want to talk about an important question. Behind all the glitz and glamour, do they really matter? My answer is yes, but not for the obvious reason. On paper, the award ceremony is of course the main objective of that night. I mean, award is in the name of the show, and it's absolutely very important. Idols strive to achieve greatness in their careers, and winning a Daesong is concrete proof that you have made it in the K-pop world. The award is a symbol that the people of Korea and really the world over love your music, your talent, and your artistry. But frankly, I think, especially in recent years, that this has taken a backseat to the spectacle, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. What comes to mind when you think of the Mamas? For me, and I think for most K-pop fans, it's the huge crowds, the never-ending stream of your favorite idols coming on stage, the fabulous and extravagant performances, never-before-seen collabs, and special song covers. It has really evolved into a night where the brightest stars of K-pop come together to show off the best side of themselves, and the result is a production that becomes an example that you can point to when somebody says, "Why K-pop?" It's a show that has grown and expanded along with the Korean wave and become more global. It's reached out to Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, and other places, and it has truly become a worldwide spectacle broadcast the world over. And that's why the Mamas are so important in my view. They showcase the very best that K-pop has to offer the world to see, while also recognizing and rewarding those same idols who have reached the very top of superstardom. Alright, now let's take a look back and see what artists have taken home the most awards since 1999 when the Mamas started. We'll start with the Daesongs, which as I mentioned there have only been 3 awarded per year until recently, where in 2018 a 4th one was added. Let's take a look at everyone who has won more than one Daesong. Starting off at 2, we have a ton of old school stars, including HOT, BoA, SG Wannabe, TVXQ, and G-Dragon of Big Bang. There are 2 artists who've taken home 3 Daesongs, the first being boy group Super Junior and the second being girl group Twice. With 4 total wins, we have YG's superstar quartet To Anyone, and just above them with 5 wins is YG's legendary boy group Big Bang. Coming in second in all-time Daesong wins is SM's boy group EXO. And I think you guys might know who is at number 1 here. It is of course none other than BTS with 9 Daesong Awards, winning their first one in 2016 for Artist of the Year. Now let's take a look at the competitive awards. Since there are more of these handed out every year, I'm raising the bar and only including artists who have won 5 or more of these awards total. Fair warning, you're gonna see some familiar faces here. There are a whole slew of artists who have won 5 competitive awards, 8 of them in fact, and they are Shinhwa, BoA, To Anyone, G-Dragon, Epic High, Big Bang, CN Blue, and IU. Coming in tied for second place at 6 total wins, we have soloist Ailey and, believe it or not, BTS. Who is the artist who takes the top spot with 7 awards? Any guesses? That would be JYP's superstar girl group Twice, who won first in 2015 for Best New Female Artist. So, we know who the big winners have been in the past, and to round out this look at the Mamas, I want to share a couple of my absolute favorite moments from the shows over the years. We'll start by rewinding to 2015, and if you're a longtime K-popper, you're probably already thinking the exact same moment as I am. Let me set the stage. To Anyone is in dire straits. Over the past year, member Bohm had found herself embroiled in a drug scandal, and YG had effectively thrown them in the dungeon as each member did their own thing. That included CL, who was essentially kicking off a solo career and trying to break into the Western market. In fact, CL was scheduled to perform at the Mamas, and fans were eagerly anticipating seeing her on stage. But then, after her song ended and she descended under the stage, this happened. One by one, Dara, Minzy, and Bohm surfaced and the crowd absolutely loses their minds. The legends To Anyone were back and reunited, and it happened on stage at the Mamas. Just look at CL, who after coming back up from under the stage takes a quick look behind her at her fellow members before the song starts. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and her face while looking back speaks volumes. You can see just how happy she is to have the group back together, and without missing a beat, they break into their debut song Fire and smash hit I Am the Best. And while we're talking about 2NE1 and CL, honorable mention to this epic performance of Where's the Love, where CL and the Black Eyed Peas rocked the 2011 Mamas. The next moment is actually a series of moments from this epic battle between Block B and BTS at the 2014 Mamas. The stage started off with dueling dance breaks, and not to be outdone, Jimin rips his shirt in two. This was followed up by a rap battle between Zico and Rap Monster, which was absolutely epic. Both idols commanded the stage during their parts, and without giving the fans any time to breathe, BTS joined Rapmon on stage and jumped right into an incredible performance of Danger. For the last moment, we're going all the way back to 2008, where absolute legends Big Bang and Lee Hyori had a very special stage. The performance started out with individual Big Bang members singing alongside Lee Hyori, starting with Taeyang and then G-Dragon. When Top made his way to the center stage, fans were screaming and the air was electric. For 45 seconds straight, there was no music, just Lee Hyori standing dead center on stage and Top taking in the crowd. And then, this happened. It was a kiss that made the minds of every fan in attendance explode. Just imagine if at this year's Mamas, BTS and IU had a stage together, and after a long silence, Jungkook kissed IU on stage. The K-pop world would have a meltdown. And that is how everyone felt back in 2008. When you stop to think about this moment for a second, it actually really encapsulates what I was talking about with why the Mamas are so special. You have two superstar artists performing a hit song together on stage with tons of screaming fans watching, and idols who are going all out to create moments and performances that amaze the fans in attendance and the onlookers all around the world. Alright K-popers, that wraps up our look at the Mamas. Thank you very much for watching this deep dive, and I hope you guys feel ready and up to speed for this Sunday's 2020 Mamas. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe because there's a new story like this to discover and lots of K-pop news every single week right here at Hallyu. This has been Deep Dive number 30, The Mamas.